Savings Investment Society schemes or stokvels have gained momentum over the years to become vehicles for wealth creation and poverty alleviation. And joining us for more is the Chairperson of the National Stokvel Association of South Africa, Andrew Lukhele. Andrew, thank you so much for joining us. In short, the association is called NASASA, yes. But by definition, we've been trying to find a translation for stokvel. Is there an English translation?
Yeah, look, a stokvel will be a group of people who normally take advantage of the collective contribution of money to enhance the culture of saving. As you know, saving is very important, but to save as an individual is a challenge. So a stokvel offers people the discipline and the peer pressure that comes with it, and the trust element, which is a basic tenet of a stokvel.
Yeah.
It's absent when you are an individual, but at group level, that ensures that you adhere to the rules that will ensure yes. that we save.
Yeah, we'll get to the Constitution and guidelines, but your background being in psychology, sociology, a teacher, an author, I think it is the 3 decades of stokvel banking, stokvels in South Africa, so you're well averse in this space. So you're actually an industry expert. What made you start the association?
Oh yeah, we started the association in 1988 during the height of apartheid. Obviously, coming from a university, I was ambitious, to try and make a contribution to my local community. I was fortunate to work for the research organization, which at some stage researched on the informal money market. So stokvels were part of them. So I got interested in advancing their interests, because talking to them as a researcher, they highlighted the issue of perception of illegality at the time. I think the authorities during the apartheid looked at stokvels as people who were taking deposits from the community members without the license to do so. In other words, they perceived stokvels as people who are operating banks or banking without the license to be banks. So those things had to be addressed at some point. So there was a need for us to have an umbrella body so that we talk with one voice.
All right. Now fast forward to how the industry has evolved. We now have various types of stokvel or investment contributions, including property stokvels. It's no longer just umgalelo with groceries for the end of the month or the end of the year.
Yeah. I think it's very important that we highlight the evolution of stokvels. Remember, stokvels are formed by people with their own needs. So the needs of people on the ground will determine the type of stokvels they want to embark on. Obviously, with the advent of democracy and other opportunities, and the advent of new members in the form of young people, they define their problems in terms of modern experiences. So that is why the advent of property stokvels, investment syndicates nowadays, looking at business-oriented type of stokvels are very important, and we follow the trend on the ground.
Yeah, and the disposable income, just the money that circulates in informal sectors or even townships. We had a report, I think, a couple of years back by Professor Tamima Zwai, who had said it runs in the billions. The problem is that it doesn't circulate enough in the township before it's then spent externally. How much are these stokvels? Just a ballpark figure.
Yeah, I think the figure is about 50 billion rands annually. The number of members will be about more than 11 million individuals in South Africa who are participants in the stokvel market. Obviously, the issue of money circulating in the community is very important. But we can't, because they have different types of stokvels, we can't dictate to them what to do with their money. Look at the number of stokvels that are involved in informal sector. The people who are involved in informal businesses are people who want startup capital. Some of them need capital to sustain their businesses. They are not the candidates for banks to lend to them. As a result, they rely on their bulk savings that they get from members. A hair salon owner, a tavern owner, a hawker will get an opportunity once when all the members have contributed to me. I'll have 50,000 once a year. And from that 50,000, I can be able to buy stock and set up other, or maybe buy a fridge if I'm an operator of some kind of a business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the 50 billion that you referred to, I think there were reports that NASASA, the Stokvel Association, was even at a that you could buy the likes of a retailer, Woolworths, as an example. You know, so is that kind of economic transformation or inclusion that one is looking at? Are you JSE listed? Are you buying into the blue chip companies? How then do you expend the wealth creation vision that you have?
Look, it's true. I think in the past, the informal sector was looked as and despised by the people in the economy. I think there's a growing appreciation that the informal sector comes with certain strength. The informality is not a negative thing. Informality means people can do things with little restrictions and certain culture that enhances the understanding of what people do on the ground. The formal sector comes with the skills and the technology and all the know-how somehow. I think the joint venture between the two is beginning to match. I mean, we have certain deals with big formal insurance companies, for instance. Coming from the reality on the ground, let's take an example of a burial society. A burial society would be a group of people who want to bury each other decently, right? But the problem there, they put money aside. In the event of someone dying, they withdraw that money. Now, if there's the frequency of death, it means the withdrawal will be higher.
Yes, but the very Stokvel, the burial Stokvel, why is it that they can't then have ownership of the entire value chain so that you don't take your money, put it into a bank? Why are you not part of the financial approved service providers?
No, these things happen at micro level.
Okay.
There are people who've set up undertakers collectively as members of groups and all that. And the relationship will always be there between the formal sector, because if we have a funeral undertaker, among other things, we'll be selling policies, funeral policies. By law, you need an underwriter to do that, because you need to guarantee that people who pay into your policy will have a decent funeral in the event of death. We can only have that if we have enough reserve in the form of liquidity. Somebody must police that. So we have to merge or have joint ventures with the formal insurance companies in the process.
All right, I get you. I'm afraid we're out of time, but just your motivation. It is now a Mandela month.
Yes.
So dealing with the psychology or the poverty mindset or scarcity mindset, you were saying do what with the little that you have, make something out of it, join a Stokvel, to change your living circumstances. What is your motivation in dealing with unemployment, poverty, as we always hear?
I think what we're advocating for is that in a democracy, we know there's BEE, there's affirmative action and all this. We're promoting the culture of self-help. I think it's very important for people to pull themselves by their own bootstraps. So people must look around their own environment and see where they can complement what the government can do.
All right, really appreciate you coming in this morning. We're speaking to the chairperson of the National Stokvel Association of South Africa, Andrew Lukhele, and you can go to their website. It's NASASA, the abbreviation nasasa.co.za.